Now, here is another problem that you seem to be having trouble with. Look, I just want to be really clear about this. These are not trivial. These are not simple. You have to really start to see these molecules as what they are, these collection of these marbles, and think about them in a systematic way. And the only way to do that is to practice. And that's what I'm asking you to do. There are no, now we do this and now we do that, and that you're just going to have to think about these problems and figure out how to solve them. So, as always, when you really don't understand, let's gather what we know. What we know is that we have a 1.95 gram sample, okay, and we know it is MCl3, so it's going to be unknown M, and then we have these chlorines. And what we do know is that we have 3.606 times 10 to the minus 2 moles of chlorine. Now, when we do that, look at that. We can go to grams of chlorine, right? Whenever you have moles, you can go to grams. And if we know that, if we start with 1.95 grams of our compound, and we subtract off the grams of the chlorine, we're left with the grams of the metal. And what we're trying to do is identify what that metal is, right? And the way we can do that is find out what the atomic mass is. So if we know the grams of the metal, what we need to know is how many moles of the metal. Do we know that? Yeah, this tells us that the formula is MCl3. So if we have 3.606 times 10 to the minus 2 moles of Cl, and we know we have 3 moles of Cl to every 1 mole of M, that'll tell us how many moles of M we have. And now we have grams per mole. That should allow us to identify what that unknown metal is, right? That's the problem. I can work through it, but it's really now just things that you've done before. So we're going to take this. So we're going to find out how many grams of chlorine to subtract that from the total mass. So that's the 3.606 times 10 to the minus 2 moles of Cl. We're going to put moles of Cl down here for every one. How many grams of Cl? Got to look that up. For chlorine, it is 35.45. So that's 35.45. That cancels that. Let's see what that is. So the grams of chlorine then, when I do that, is 1.278 grams of Cl. We've got 4 single digits. We're going to have 4 single digits there. We're good. So we're going to do this subtraction up here, right? This is this 1.95 grams minus 1.278 grams. Now in this case, our significant digits, it's an addition subtraction problem. So our significant digits is limited there. We're going to get out 0.67, and that is 0.67 grams of the metal in that compound. Now how many moles? Well, that's this thing where we take the number of moles times 1 mole metal per 1 mole per 3 moles. I'll do that. And so we just divide 3 into 3.6, and that turns out to be 0.012 moles. And our atomic mass then, what I get is 55.7 grams per mole for our unknown metal. Now that's pretty darn close to iron, is what that is. So this is iron, and the compound then is FeCl3. Now, see, at the end, that's a pretty good, clever calculation, but it's not so simple to see that from the beginning. Stay with it. Don't get frustrated. Keep practicing, and you will get better.